his sun, squared by Pluto, the harsh sun, when it goes into her 11th house, her social house, her friends. So his importance of what friends are you allowed to have? Well, what friends is the wife of the princess allowed to have? She's got the family, the royal friends, not much else. She had really limited social environment. And he would be controlling, and his controlling sun, it's opposing her Venus. So what he's judging isn't what she wants. It's squaring her Uranus. She's shocked by his confidence. It's squaring her Mars. It makes her angry or disruptive, and squares her Moon. It disrupts her feelings. So her sun really, her sun gets afflicted. It goes into his 12th house. His sun goes into making all these disruptions and these orders on her 11th house, on who her friends were, who she could have as friends, who she couldn't. Well, if she can't have these friends, she's just got to be at home with the kids and take care of them and do what. And he's concerned about how his control is around the home. It's not about rising up to share in the relationships. And both of them, her sun squares his Venus and Neptune, so he's evasive around emotion. He's not emotionally responding properly to her. She has trouble with that. He has the same thing. His energy goes in, but it's not evasive. He's just shocked and disrupted. It disturbs what he tries to do isn't what she wants. So around satisfaction levels, their confidence is on a, let me please you, aren't I good for you? Aren't I good for you? That's not happening in these two charts. From either one to the other. What she wanted or expected, or her confidence went into his 12th house. His confidence went into her 11th house of friends. He would make it important to see where they go, what social events, what things they have to do, where they had to show up, how they would have to dress, what they would have to do. Would he ask her what she wanted to wear? No, he'd be saying, you got to do this, you got to do that. So like, this is a funny idiosyncrasy. It's always minding someone else's business when we're doing this. So I don't like to do this that much, but it's sometimes very useful. But in this case, we're just seeing frequencies that go on. You can study the lives, you can look at the lives, you can see it. I'm not going to go into it excessively. The moon, their needs, their sense of security. Her moon is in Aquarius in the 2nd house. She needs to feel secure and valued. It needs to talk about resources, talk about what we have, what we're doing, what we're going to do, what we've got to do. This is the rational plan about how I'm living. But her moon in itself is opposed by Uranus, disrupted, unstable home, unstable feelings, and squared Mars, easily upset or angered, and squares Venus. So she has a high level of discontent of what's content anyway. So she learns to do without, gets angry, and rationalizes it in her Aquarius moon. That's her. That's her by herself. She wasn't the most. She's hard to please, hard to make feel secure. So his Scorpio sun trying to make her feel secure. All their suns aren't so compatible. Her moon, she's not secure around where she lives, anyways. Even at the home she was in, she moved. She got married. Like it's that point, how much she might have moved into money, but how much cash she had to spend might have been another thing, or how she could spend it might have been a very different thing, even from her own home. But in a way, having an older person like the Aquarius, the Saturn rulership with this coming in, that's the aspects. The moon in the 2nd house in Aquarius means there's need to be a plan for your resources. I want to plan what I want to use. I want to use this. I want to have this. I want to be thinking about what I'm doing. Okay, that's his moon's in the 10th house. Mommy says this. The family is this. The family, the tradition, the mom, the royalty, it's the primary influence. It's the status. I got to live how mom says it. So he's been ruled by his mom. His moon's in the 10th house, squared by Mercury, and squaring his ascendant. It was not comfortable, but he made practical decisions, which is good. This is practical. This is this. I'll take care of this. I'll take care of this. And he's been very fixed in that, very waited a long time. He was waiting to be king. She's living a long time. Okay, so, but his needs are about status and position and being respected. So he would need to be respected. but he would have trouble with communicating or talking about it. He wouldn't be able to talk to his mom. He's like, so really, she would have had to take in control and tell him what to do, like mom, but he already had mom there. So he and mom would have to decide, mom would really decide how to name the baby, if the baby came in, or how the family should be. It's going to set her, she's going to be set up. She's a wild card anyways, and coming from outside has that anyways. But when her feelings go into his chart, her moon goes into the 8th house of trusting him. It's squaring his sun. There's a stress in her trying to trust his confidence, his ego, and it's opposing his Pluto opposes her moon, so he has blocks against her feelings, against her social 8th house social belonging, her sense of being socially involved with him. The areas of trust, really difficult. He has difficulty trusting her. She puts her feelings in an area where he's not, and she's getting attacked, not trusted from that. The 8th house. Again, even issues around money, who's paying for what, who's doing what. Maybe she got a bit of a budget. I'm not sure how that worked, but I'm sure it was very controlled. His moon, these are your basic needs. His basic needs about status and mom and authority. It goes into her 4th house, her home. We have to live like this. Mom said, who says so? Why can't we just do this? Why can't we move this here? No, mom would not. We can't do this. It's got to be this way. And he moves in. It's opposed by her Neptune, so she doesn't believe. What's he doing? Now, she has a plan. He has his tastes. He feels his tastes dominate, and he puts it into her life. She's not. He walks into disbelief that what he wants isn't according to what she's thinking. She could probably adjust to it, go along, but she would want to talk or communicate around it. The Moon in Taurus wouldn't necessarily want to explain himself around it. So again, you see the stress. There's going to be stress in anybody, between anyone's charts. These ones are just quite polarized. Just thinking back on Mercury, how they communicate with each other. Her Mercury is in the 7th house conjunct their Sun. It's important to communicate. If she's talking with her partner and they're talking, communicating, that gives her confidence. If he's listening to her, she's going to want to be an important person, a part of her partner's life. And want to be talking, communicating, planning things with it. That's that Sun in Cancer, 7th house, and the Mercury's with it. Mercury's in Cancer, 7th conjunct the Sun. His Mercury is in Scorpio in the 4th house. So he's more private and judgmental about his thinking. I'm thinking this way, don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me what to do. I'm seeing how this is the judgment. I'm motivated, I know where this is. She's trying to talk. Can we talk about this? There's again a wall there. Her way of reaching him, her Mercury reaching him, every time she says something, it goes into his 11th house of his social sense, and it shakes, it hits his Mercury. It's a shock. It's exciting. What? It's exciting. It's shocking, but it opposes to Jupiter. So it's like she thinks she talks too much. She's saying she's disturbing. He doesn't want to give it a bunch. He doesn't have to adjust his life because she's talking about things in social situations. Play the role. Don't talk. His Mercury in the 4th opposes his moon and his ascendant, so he has this stress around it, this worry around it. It conjuncts his Neptune. It goes into her chart, conjuncts her Neptune, and squares her Jupiter in the 10th house. So I'm thinking this way. She's thinking, are you kidding? We have to play this role to live out the fantasy prince. His Mercury touches her Neptune, her belief system. She wants to believe. She would want to believe or understand, but struggling to understand it, but he doesn't communicate it. He expects it to just be there. And she's not, to him, she wouldn't look like, to her, he wouldn't look like he's being very clear. He's being obsessive or fanatical in his expectations or in his thinking. Now, you could take this to the point when you go down to relationships that he's wanting her to do things she doesn't want to do, and he's thinking about his ex or his other girlfriend, and who wouldn't question him. Okay, now when we go along, her Venus, her sense of satisfaction, appreciation. It's in Taurus. She knows what she likes. It's in the 5th house of love and romance and kids. I'm fixed. I know what I like. I know what I like. But her Venus in her chart is squared by Uranus and the moon and loosely by Mars. So it's under a lot of affliction. She's never gotten what she wanted. She knows what she wants, but the stability was never there. In her own home with her own mom, wasn't there. And then when she married, it's still, so for her, she doesn't have that. She has anxious and anxiety, a hyperness. So she's finicky. She's not easily satisfied. More you're anxious. Okay, his Venus is conjunct his IC and conjunct his Neptune. In Libra, he has these fantasies about how he wants what he wants and how he wants to be satisfied. These can be very erotic fantasies. Okay, or dream fantasies. She has all the fantasies of the dreams that indulge and want to indulge the Venus. And I'm living for this. I'm motivated by his 4th house. Yeah, it's in Libra. Let's do this. You know, what do I do that for? I don't I don't want to do that. Like, so you can see her nature is being shocked to begin with. Her Venus, what she wants goes into his 11th house, and he interprets this is affecting this. Your choices are diminishing. It's opposing his sun. It's diminishing the security I want. I don't want to go see those people. Where would she ever say, I have a friend, would you like to come out and have dinner with my friend? Not likely to happen. He's threatened or at odds with her values, and her values are what she wants. If she's not being romantically there, why would he want to go out places and be with his friends or whatever? Like, so it would be hard to hide that versus his Scorpio moon. His Venus, when he wants, goes into her 9th house of, I want this, and she's wondering, is this right? Should I have to do this? Do I have to do this? What's this? Do I really want this? Should I want this? Or his obsessions come in, do I have to believe in him? And it squares her sun, saying that it's affecting her confidence. He wants to do that. I don't feel confident doing that. So he's expecting, he has that Neptune on the conjunct the IC. He's motivated by what he wants extremely. That affects everything else, his other decisions he's doing. And there's a gap here. They're not reaching across to each other, even though they had their kids. Okay.